You know, I don't really hang out in my car. I'm hanging out in my car right now because I have time to waste before work. But I don't hang out in my car, and I don't advise any car lifer people to hang out in their cars either. Like, aren't you depressed doing that? For me, I don't like it. I did it a couple times the first week, you guys saw, but I don't like that. I like to get out, go to the park. I need to move. I need to be with nature. Like, nothing I'm doing is very different from what I was doing before I became homeless. I was outside like all the time. Like, this suits me so well. I feel so much better. And I'm in a Target parking lot right now, and it just made me think, like, I have anxiety watching these people. They're all on their phones, and they buy all this crap, and they're even with other people, especially the partners together, and they're just on their phones and buying crap. And, like, I don't know. I've always been like an outsider watching people. And I feel very fortunate to have this again in my life. Like, I had to overcome society's limitations of what I should be at what age I should be at. And for my gender. We all do. But man, I mean, I know I do not make any sense for being in my mid-30s as a woman. And being very childlike and wild and rebellious and radical. I know I don't make any sense. And I'm really proud of that, finally. I had to get really proud of it and letting go of other people's expectations of me and their judgments and criticisms. Because really what I found out is most people, the people who do judge and do criticize, they're either very jealous and envious because I have a good attitude about everything that I go through in my life, no matter where I'm at. That's all that I care about in life, is having a good attitude and maintaining delight. Like, I'm not gonna that's the whole point. Like, the soul needs to be happy. The soul is happy. The soul is delighted in whatever it is doing, because it already knows it is one. It already knows that even if the end happens in this material world, there's more to this. We go on and on and on. And isn't that the ultimate fear, is the end? Isn't that why people are buying shit all day? While they're disconnecting from themselves, from their bodies, their minds, from actually, experiencing being a soul, being the one in this human physical form. Like, everyone is just constantly escaping that. Ugh, they look creepy in the... But we're told to escape it, and then we're so afraid to find it because it's this like, religion screwed it up, like spiritual teaching screwed it up. They made it seem like this big Rubik's Cube, this secret language nobody knows. And it's like, you already have it within you. I don't know. My whole life, I just felt like I knew, and I had to just consistently move through my life and get slapped in the face and knocked down, that it's really hard to know in this life, to carry this knowing with you, to carry this attitude of knowing with you in everything that you do in life. I just grew up obsessed over like the hippie movement of the 60s and rebellious people who who fought for their own freedom, their own self-expression, their art, their souls. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I didn't think people would be so angry, hypocritical, but be so angry and attack each other in just the everyday, mundane, boring world. Did that make sense? Like, I didn't know I was going to be getting attacked by everybody. I thought if I don't know, tried to do more with my art, try to get famous somehow, got a bunch of money, I thought then I would have to worry about bigger bullies and setbacks and limitations. But the everyday average life, people going, like the 9-to-5 life, going to an office, being married, you know, having a partner, having a big group of friends, which were just drinking buddies, you know, having all these hobbies to do, all these tasks, the shopping, the cleaning, that is hell to me. That was absolute hell. I was never more sick and depressed in all of my life than just trying to fit in, be normal, have a soft life. It was not soft at all. People think that you're going to be safe and you're going to be soft by living that life. But your dreams are buried. The real you, your soul, is buried. It's just not in the driver's seat. It's there. It's always there. It's just not in the driver's seat. And nobody comes and says, now it's time. You can let go. Actually, I am. And there's a bunch of people on YouTube that are, and TikTok and Instagram that are saying, it's time, go for it. But we're still just watching each other say, it's time, go for it. And we're like, yeah, today we feel good. And we can sense that we believe in the magic today. But tomorrow, I got a headache. It's Tuesday. Rebecca's going to be at work today. God, I hate Rebecca. My partner's not paying attention to me. He never pays attention to me. My mom won't shut up about this and that. You know, like, who knew that this was the actual hell that we gotta break through to get to our heaven? All these dumb fucking societal norms are the hell, are the self-imposed prison. It's imposed on us, but then we become the ones who stay in the prison. Have you seen those pictures of the cages with birds and the cage doors open, but the birds is still in there? It's like, the door's open. You can just go fly. You can be free. It's not really a prison at all. Like, I have sympathy for people, for all of us, because, you know, I didn't know. Like, I thought I was always so self-aware, but really we are brainwashed and we don't know that we're in these self-imposed prisons, or these prisons, whatever, mental prisons. It's just terms I'm using for now in this video. Chill out, don't take it so seriously. But do, because God, like, it's just so crazy how people think you're crazy for not, like, you just got to be miserable and keep your mouth shut. But if you're miserable and it's obvious, you're crazy. Because you're screwing up the game for everybody else. You're screwing up the script for everybody else. You're not falling in line. But then that's why people get stuck in that. And people look down on homeless people because there's so many who get stuck in this, that they're a failure. They messed up in society. They failed in society, and they were labeled crazy, and they just stay there, and they still allow the brainwashing. the prison to be their mindset, not knowing that the prison is a cage with an open door, that they have the key to open the prison door. And you open it by saying, what do you want to do today? And then you do it. What do you want to do today? And then you do it. Anything. You don't have the money to do it, then you figure out. There are so many ways. You got to get clever in your God-given imagination and figure out, get creative. They took our creativity, our imaginations away. Get creative, and how can I make it happen on a budget? How can I make this work for free? Because if you can do anything for free or on a budget, then you can do anything. You can make anything happen. Because it's only a luxury from there. It's only luxury from there. I want to travel and live a nomadic life. I'm not able to do that right now. I have to stay here. I have to be a stealth camper in a city, which I really don't like it. I really don't like it, but I'm making the best of it. And I go to the most woodsy places possible where that's not part of my environment. Like yesterday, I went to this park. It was gorgeous, but there were so many homeless people and strung out, just low vibe homeless people who looked very homeless, who acted very homeless, who acted very intoxicated. And it was a beautiful park though, but I thought I'm never coming back here because I can't be around that energy. Yes, it's a physical look, but the energy you're around in your environment matters so much. So if you're creating something new, you need to set up that environment. You need to set up that aesthetic. Years ago when I was very sick in my 20s, I moved into this new apartment, and I thought I need to decorate it. Like, I wanted to go to a spa so bad. For some reason, I was thinking like a spa in Mexico. You know, people go to like 30-day spas and they lose a bunch of weight from eating healthy, and, you know, people just help them get their health under control. But I was like, I'm going to make my own little hippie spa, my little hippie domain. And I'm going to make it all cool and creative and bright colored and different designs and patterns. And you know what happened? A couple years later, I got to travel for free to somewhere in the Pacific Northwest that I plan on moving to originally. And when I visited on a free trip there, you guys, free trip, never thought that was possible. I never had money to travel before. I never had money to do anything. I did everything on a budget, and then things started to come to me that I couldn't even imagine how they would happen. I couldn't even imagine how they would happen. And I got to go to this place, and everything looked like my apartment. The colors, the patterns, the vibe, the words that I wrote down in my journal during those years of healing, the affirmations I wrote, they were literally being told to me by other people. I was seeing them everywhere. And still to this day, that is what happens. But it was so mind-blowing in such a beautiful way. Like, I did this for myself. I decorated my apartment, and now the world, literally this city that I went to, looks like my apartment. And I was so grateful. I was crying the whole time. The person I was visiting thought I was insane. I didn't care. I knew it was God. I knew it was my imagination. I knew the power of my imagination, and it was all happening. That person lived there for 9 years. That never happened before. Why, when I started to align my physical and mental and emotional world, did it suddenly happen? Because I aligned it all. I allowed myself to go there in my imagination. And I used to be so afraid to think positive thoughts because I was afraid people would make fun of me, because my family would make fun of me, my friends. People know you as you are, and if you have dreams or goals beyond who you currently are, and you tell people who you currently have in your life, they're not going to see it. They're not going to see it, and you're going to doubt yourself, and you're going to say, yeah, maybe that's not possible. That is silly. That's stupid. I'm too old to be doing that. Whatever, like all these limitations. It's like, but do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? And you have to do it with whatever you have in this very moment, with whatever money, whatever supplies you have. When I started this YouTube channel, I wanted to make this huge world of my own. I made this huge backdrop. I didn't have the money to get all the things, but I had so much art supplies. I was able to get free boxes. I cut up cardboard. I used paper and water and flour to make paper mache things. I wanted to create a 3D world. I wanted to create 3D things with my art from my imagination. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I got really creative with it. I touched it. I smelt it. I felt it before it was actually here. I played in my little world in my mind so much. I made it physical, and then that physical representation, diorama, whatever it was, just art. And then I literally created, and still do create, people and cities, places to go, things to experience, vibrations, frequencies, love, like just conversations from the words and the frequency. Just I don't know how I got to talking about this. Sorry, I'm so sweaty. It's hot. That's how all this started for me, and continues on. But and I forget how it was so hard to break through all those layers for years and years and years and years. Keep breaking through all those layers of caring what people think of you, because that's really what is holding you back. And caring what people think of you, you're not going around constantly being like, I don't care what you think of me. It's not about that. And it's not even other people. You made these people manifested in your world because, yes, it was from brainwashing from society and your parents, your caretakers, things on television and social media. All these things brainwashed us from such a young age. And that's why we're so confused, because as children, what do you do with this? I posted a picture from this book at the library, and it's a baby, and the dad's reading a newspaper, and it's just seeing like big words, all these bad things going on in the world that the dad's reading. But you think, oh, babies, they don't know any better. No, they do. Maybe not the newspaper, but I remember television, just like it was all crime, horrible things happening, violence. What the Sorry, some guys like blasting his music and watching me. Anyway, everything's just violence and crime and video games. I know. All those 80s moms were so right for trying to fight against violent video games, because it does warp us to a certain extent. I know they're fun for normal people with healthy minds, but there's some people who are just so trapped. Even the people with healthy minds, we're not aware. Now we're more aware, but are we? I don't know. Okay, anyway. All these things matter. And we're children, and we don't understand what's going on. We don't understand, like, oh, that's bad, and that, we just grow up with these fragmented memories and feelings, emotions, and not knowing what to do with it as adults. And it's so embarrassing to do anything with it. We just think we should get angry or lash out or get sad and join people in their misery in order to make sense of these fragmented feelings. But that's you just becoming a sheep like everybody else. the misery loves company. You're just joining the misery with your misery instead of going towards what makes you happy. That's such a lonely, weird road. Happiness is so frowned upon, which makes no sense. I thought everybody wanted happiness. I thought we learned in elementary school that this was the goal. But then it's like, psych, shove it down. Shove it down. Go buy some shit. Hook up with somebody. Get a partner. Get somebody who loves you. And then forget about them. And then let it get boring. And then wish you were with somebody else. Just no matter what it is, you're always looking for something else, something new, something fresh. Even if things are going good in your life, you need to keep moving, but it's like the babies playing with the toys, just laying down. People who are in a miserable mindset, in a stuck mindset, in a controlled mindset, they're just playing with the toys from above, just laying there constantly, thinking there's movement, but there's not. Watching the short form content all day, or long form content too, thinking there's movement, but they're not doing shit in the physical world to make that movement happen. You know, I didn't have the resources. I was too afraid to go outside. I was agoraphobic, you guys. That's what I mean. But I took what I could and built my own world in my apartment. I built my own world in my apartment because I was too afraid to go out into the world. And then when I went out into the world, everything looked like my apartment. And I was ready by then. I'd been practicing being this new version of myself, and I was ready to go out into the world. And did I get knocked down a bunch of times? Hell yeah. This has been so hard. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Because I'd still be going into a Target, buying some shit with my partner, or we're zoned out on our phones, on social media, wishing we were somewhere else, doing something else, just talking about it all day, never doing shit about it though. Just joining the misery, being a sheep. One day, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, it's time for work. I'm sweating too much. There's a way, you guys. There's a fucking way if you want it. There is a way if you want it. And every time you don't do something to get it, you're saying, I don't want it. So if you're complaining about things that aren't working in your life and how everything just keeps repeating and why me, it's because you're saying, I don't want anything new. I don't want to feel happy. I'd rather just keep doing what is always here and get irritated by it. Because that's what everyone else is doing. That's why I couldn't do stand-up anymore, because you have to find things to complain about, and it keeps you stuck unless you get way older. You know, you have to build your career for over 10 years, keep going and going until you finally make money, and then you can kind of settle down into a more peaceful life. But you really got to battle it out and see the bad in people and in the world in order to make it funny. But it just wasn't funny to me anymore. It was too real. This shit is too fucking real. That it's unreal.